everyone, I'm Beth Allen.
And I'm Ziggy, Barber.
You're here with ACU News, the university program that discusses the important things. Our first story tonight: when will the St. Teresa building actually be complete? Are they lying to us? Will Ziggy and I have graduated before then? Honestly, who knows at this point?
That's right, Beth. We have also received little to no update on when the air conditioning in the library will become tolerable. Seriously, I'm sick of having to put on my jumper and take it back off again.
You've got a point there, Ziggy. We now move into our top story for this evening. The second year education students in Melbourne have organised an excursion to the Fitzroy Gardens, exploring the layers of the forest, the parts of various plants, and the clarity of water in the ponds, and how to test it.
There are also many animals found within the Fitzroy Gardens. Our lead reporter Raquel Romano has reported on her lesson plan for Level 3 students today. Let's take a look.
The lesson plan will be set in various areas of the Fitzroy Gardens. Children will be locating native animals and describing the uses for their body parts. Fitzroy Gardens was chosen as it houses a microbat and grey-headed flying fox, which are endangered in Australia. It is a good opportunity to introduce the students to these animals before they become extinct. Fitzroy Gardens houses a variety of animals including birds, possums and bats, allowing students to observe and compare different features of each animal. The students will be able to describe in detail what they saw and interpret what each body part is for. The students will be directed to look in the trees for the animals, as the birds, possums and bats in the gardens will likely reside near or in a tree. Unlike the zoo, where the children will be restricted on where they can see and look, Fitzroy Gardens will allow students to get a closer look at the animals in a natural environment. The students will be given a worksheet and will need to determine which body parts the animal used to eat and move around with. Within biological science, we will be looking at the cross-curriculum priority for sustainability. The students will be looking at how to sustain the habitat and wildlife and how to prevent animals from becoming extinct by not disrupting their habitat. This has been Raquel reporting. Back to you guys in the studio.
To continue our Fitzroy Gardens investigation, we now cut live to Holly McNeill, who is currently in the Fitzroy Gardens exploring the layers of the forest for her Level 4 students.
Holly, are you there? Holly?
Oh, sorry guys, I didn't see you there. I was just taking the serenity, you know. It's a beautiful garden, isn't it? How's the serenity? So within this excursion, children will be coming down to Fitzroy Gardens and they can look up at the different layers which are in the garden. So within forest there's different layers. There's the emergent, the canopy, the understory, and then lastly the forest floor. And you can see them all within the layers. So there's like the high ones are the emergent layers, they emerge out of the top of the trees and then it goes down from there. And I can document these in a workbook and even just do small drawings or observations of it and come back to the classroom and go from there. So once the students have finished making their observations out in the gardens of the different layers, they can head back to the classroom and bring back all the information that they've learnt and create a class poster of the different levels in the rainforest or in the foresty area. As you can see through this amazing place, students will have the perfect opportunity to take in the different levels of the rainforest and learn hands-on about these. Back to you guys. I'll be going back to the gardens.
Thanks, Holly. After the break, our top story continues with Beth and I explaining our lesson plans.
Also, when will the cafe food stop being so expensive? My student loans aren't that good.
We'll be right back. For my level 6 students, this lesson will be based on students testing different water levels from the pond within the garden and seeing how. For the introduction of this lesson, students will do research about why plants and animals need water to survive. They will research some of the animals and plants that live within the Fitzroy Gardens and sorts of water systems that are in place to support these plants and animals for their growth and survival. The main body of the lessons is where students will do their investigation for water testing. They will take an excursion to the Fitzroy Gardens where they will test the water from the pond, and they will do multiple tests of abiotic factors on water samples and fill in activity sheets with their results. Once they have all their results, the students will go back to the classroom and display in graphs about what they have found and compare them with other students. These tests are to provide students with an understanding of the quality of water that is used to support the animals and plants that live within the Fitzroy Gardens. Students will look at the cross-curriculum priority of sustainability as it allows students to develop knowledge, skills, values and worldviews necessary to contribute to more sustainable patterns of living. Students will develop an understanding of how to keep our waters clean and different methods that are installed in order for these waters to stay clean.
For this particular part of the excursion, foundation level students will be interacting with plants that are located within the Fitzroy Gardens. This lesson marks the beginning of a unit of work studying plants. Prior to partaking in the excursion, students will be reading a book as a class all about plants. The teacher will bring in various fruits, vegetables, flowers, and other plants, and will make explicit to the students the various parts of a plant, distinguishing between the stem, leaves, branches, flowers, roots, and seeds. Students will then make their way to the gardens and, in pairs, find 2 plants of their choice. The teacher will take a photo of each pair's plants. Post-excursion, pairs of students will receive printed out photos of their chosen plants and complete a diagram, labeling each part of the plant as they see it. The teacher will model a Venn diagram, which will highlight the parts of each of the plants that he or she has picked as examples. All of these parts will be highlighted for their differences and for the parts that are the same. Students will then return to their desks and complete a Venn diagram in their pairs with the plants that they picked, identifying their similarities and differences. This lesson in particular will cover the cross-curriculum priorities of sustainability and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture. A scarred tree in the gardens has been preserved, with the plaque at the bottom of the tree reading, "The scar on this tree was created when Aboriginal people removed bark to make canoes, shields, food and water containers, string, baby carriers and other items. It is important to the Wurundjeri people of Melbourne as traditional custodians of the land and is part of the heritage of all Australians."
And that's all we've got time for this evening.
Once again, I'm Bethany Allen,
I'm Ziggy Barber.
and you're watching ACU News. Happy teaching!
For the Fitzroy Gardens activity will be set in Fitzroy.
I want to start, but I need to get the courage up to do it.
Thanks, Holly. After the break, Beth and I will continue our top. Okay. Thanks, Holly. After the break, our top story continues.
Oh, she started! No. On it to all you education students, happy teaching.